Let's start today's episode.
So I had a mammogram last week on Thursday, which for the sake of the podcast recording, because I'm not sure when this is actually going to go out, was July 9th. It was my second mammogram. So I had my regular mammogram a couple weeks ago, and then they had an abnormality. It was just very vague, something came up on the mammogram. We're going to have you come in for another one. It was clear. They said it was my left breast. Something was different, wrong, whatever. Something was on the scan. And I've had scans before where I've had to go in and they were like, yeah, I guess it was just a speck on the film or, there must have been something on the lens. So I wasn't really terribly, I don't know, worried about it. It was just like, okay, great, let's just go do it. So they were like, we're going to do a mammogram, another mammogram on your left breast, and then an ultrasound on both to see what's going on. So I went in last week on Thursday and they did the mammogram first, which, by the way, more painful than the regular mammograms. They really get you in there and they really squish the out of you. And I couldn't even breathe. She was like, inhale. And I was like, I can't. There's no place to inhale to. Thank God I have Tai Chi belly breathing because the only way I could inhale was by really letting my belly go because I couldn't I was so squished in there I couldn't move. So I was like, okay, I'm really glad this is not how I thought regular mammograms were not fun, but this was even worse. Anyway, did it fine, got through it. Still sore today. It's Monday, so 4 days later, left boob still a bit sore. And then she said, okay, wait, we're going to have them look at this so that right then and there, they came in. Well, I went back to the waiting room, but they sent this results over. They had, I don't know, doctors, technicians look at the mammogram immediately and then sent me for the ultrasound. And she said, we're going to wait for them to take a look, see what comes up on this, and then we'll send you for the ultrasound after they do this. I had the ultrasound done, and she was a very nice lady. We talked about period coaching and what it's like to work in a dark room all day, and very nice. But the doctor came in and was like, well, you're riddled with cysts. I think actually what she said was, you have a lot of cysts. And I was like, okay, I'm in perimenopause. I have no progesterone and boatloads of fluctuating estrogen. So I'm not terribly surprised by that. But cysts, whatever. And she goes, but this is not a cyst. So then she showed me the ultrasound and she showed me the cysts, what they looked like, and then this dark mass. And she said, okay, so this is what we're looking at. And because you have high risk, we need a biopsy as quickly as possible. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to do some follow-up tests. And then she said that they would do the MRI in 6 months after that. And I was like, well, why don't we just do the MRI after the biopsy? Is there a reason to wait? And she said, no, not really. And I said, well, then can we just do it? Why am I going to sit around for 6 months waiting for an MRI?
A long time.
I know. And then she did say that they do a follow-up ultrasound no matter what the test's results from the biopsy and the MRI were in 6 months. So that will be done in January. But she said that one we do have to wait for 6 months to see how things change and develop. So I said, okay. So I texted you in the car as Chris was driving me to my favorite breakfast spot, which is always our reward for when we have to do hard things.
I love that you guys have a spot.
So we went to the breakfast spot. I texted you and I did say, we might as well do a podcast episode on this so that people can know what it's like following along in real time. And then if something happens, you can always come back and go, okay, well, what did Stasha have to do? What was next? So
yeah.
So here we are on Monday morning on an impromptu recording session where Katie's about to quiz me on everything that happened.
Just to throw that in there, last year in the fall when I had a mammogram, usually they always, because I have very dense breasts, I need to do a mammogram and then an ultrasound the same day, but they forgot to have me do the ultrasound. So when they reached out to me, they didn't say they forgot to do the ultrasound. They just were like, we need to have you come in for an ultrasound. And I was like, oh, well, did something show up on the mammogram? Is something happening? Right? They didn't give an explanation. So I was getting into my head and I just called them back. I'm like, okay, just so I'm clear, what is happening? But for me, they always have to do both. And now that I'm because I couldn't get a mammogram when I was 39 because I was pregnant. Then at 40, I had the boys. Then at 41, I was breastfeeding. So this is only my third or fourth mammogram that I've had. So I'm still kind of getting into like the idea of making sure they do it correctly.
Yeah. It's a little, and it's
But
always nerve-wracking anyway, because you're going in
oh
there and you
god,
got to do
yeah.
this thing, and it's like, oh God, I don't want to, it's already painful, uncomfortable, a little nerve-wracking.
The dense breast thing, everyone that I ask says, "Oh yeah, I have dense breast too." So
Yeah,
what is dense breast the majority of women?
I don't
Like,
know. That's a good
should they
question.
just
They
always
said
be
that.
doing both just in
Right.
case?
I know, right? I actually asked my ultrasound tech that. I said, why don't we do ultrasounds as part of? I understand that mammograms and ultrasounds are different kinds of imaging, so they see different things, but why don't we just do both? And she was like, it's a good question. I don't know. So,
Well, for everyone that's listening right
yeah.
now, can you talk to us about family history though? Because
Mhm.
this is the important piece of the puzzle. This is why I'm extra, what's the word I'm looking for? Because I can go into mama bear mode like very quickly, but like extra checking in with you, extra making
Yeah.
sure that you're okay, extra love because I know, but not everybody knows that's listening.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I will take all the extra love from literally anyone. I'm writing my newsletter that goes out tomorrow, and I'm like, I will send whatever you want my way. Good juju, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, so my grandmother, my mom's mom, died from breast cancer in her late 30s. But at least I know she was diagnosed in her like mid to late 30s, and then, but that was a long time ago. And she had surgery, but there was no chemo, there was no radiation, none of that stuff existed at the time. So she had surgery to have it removed. There's a picture of her with her arm in a sling because it was after her surgery, like an old black and white photo. And it's like the last photo that they have of her still alive. So she died young. My mom and her sister and brother were, I think, still in high school. Maybe the oldest had graduated, but they were all still pretty
That's
young.
so young.
Yeah, it was young. And she, from all accounts, was a great mom and good person. And so, it was a real blow to the family. And then my aunt was diagnosed in her mid 30s. And because of her mother, and I'm sure all of the trauma that she went through growing up with that, she just had a double mastectomy right out of the gate and was like, done, call it. We're not doing this. So she's never had another issue, but she did have all of, like, she just scorched earth for it. And then my sister, who's my half sister, same mom, had her first round in her mid 30s. I want to say she was 35, but don't quote me on that. When she had her first diagnosis, chemo, radiation, she did fine. And then she had her second round, I think at 50. I think it was 50 on the nose when she was diagnosed for the second time. And at that point, she had both breasts done. And it was actually more intense that time, but the chemo and stuff was a little bit better. So
Mm,
I just remember it almost felt like it was just as bad, but in a different way. So, but
yeah.
then that was also a long time ago. I mean, I'm almost 50 and I think she's 17 years older than me and I'm going to be 46 this month. So, that was a while ago. Anyway, at least 10 years ago. So things have changed a lot since then too, since she had it done. But that's all of the breast cancer risk. Now my mom has been fine. She's had nothing. She's had two biopsies, both were benign. And in fact, she's 80. I think she said when she turned 80, they told her she didn't need to do mammograms anymore. And she goes, with my family history, no, we'll keep going, at least until I say we're done. So she's still getting them done, even though they told her she didn't have to do them anymore. But she's very healthy. She's active. She snorkels and cruises. And I mean,
Your mom does not look like she's in her 80s.
no, she's got to be what, 82, 83 now. I forget what it was for her last birthday. But yeah, so and she's very active. She walks with us, like when I take the dogs out, as long as we're not going like the really hilly hikey way, because bad knees. I also have bad knees. I got them from her and she got them from her dad. So we know who they came from. But anyway, so she's active. She gardens. She helped me pot a ton of stuff while they were here in the greenhouse and everything. So she was like, "We'll wait until I'm actually old before we quit." Basically, is what
Yeah,
she told
no,
them. So
totally. What about
anyway,
your uncle?
was that?
What about your uncle? Did he have any?
No, no, he's been fine as far as I know. I mean, can't say that we talked to him a ton. He went a little crazy pants in the later years of the political uprising. So I don't know. I mean, we still talk to him, and his mom still talks to him regularly, but they just don't talk for long or about much. But yeah, that's been fine. And it seems like my sister was tested and she was positive for the BRCA gene, but her two kids were both tested and they were negative. So, and mom was tested and she was negative. And then one of the doctors was like, "Well, if your mom was negative, then you can't have it." And I was like, "Really?" Because my sister has it. And they were like, "Well, maybe it comes from her dad's side of the family." I was like, "But her dad's side of the family has no breast cancer at all. And my mom's side is riddled with breast cancer. So you're going to tell me that this family who got diagnosed in their 30s from like the early 1900s to today is fine. It has no genetic history and no. So whatever, I don't know, whatever that doctor was saying, I don't know. But I was like, but how do you explain that to me then? Because
Yeah.
generally, if you're under 50, they do genetic testing because it's so rare to have a hormonal breast cancer, estrogen-based breast cancer under 50. And they were in their freaking 30s. It's not like they were 49, you know?
Yeah, they were, your grandma was very young.
Yes, very young. So, anywho's it. So on the actually on the test results they sent me, they did a calculation of risk and they said that my risk is 25%. The general population is 10%, and that I'm at 25%, which puts me into the high risk category, which means they wanted to do the biopsy immediately instead of waiting 6 months and then seeing what
Yeah.
happened and then doing it, which I was like, I don't know why you would do that to anybody, but okay.
10% risk is still pretty high. For me, hearing that seems like,
I know, that's what I said. And I
because
think
like
that's
20,
like
even
just estrogen.
25%, unless I'm doing percentages wrong in my head, like that does, obviously that's like a risk, but it's
Yeah.
not like a 50, 60, 70%
Yeah.
risk,
I don't
right?
know
But
if
that's
that,
still high risk. That's really interesting.
I'm going to assume that like if my mom had it as well, that would bump it up higher. But anyway, they said that put me in the high risk category. So I'm not sure how high it actually goes.
Yeah.
She goes, "You have a lot of family history. We're going to have to do a biopsy. There's just no way that
Oh,
we can let this go." And I was like, "Well, I wouldn't want you to let this go, for God's sake."
I don't have family history and I would not let that go.
I know, right? So I guess some people are much more chill than you and I.
I don't know who they are, but I would love to meet you.
I know, same.
Well, how are you feeling? Like, I know this is really emotional as a friend hearing your results and all of that. Like, how are you doing with this information?
So weird. I had a bad feeling when we went into that mammogram, and I just chalked it up to being an anxious human. I was just like, "Oh, well, I have high anxiety. I'm just having a bad feeling because it's a new experience and I'm nervous, you know?" But I just had this weird feeling when I went in. And so it was like I was surprised, but not surprised, you know? Like I was surprised because no, I'm not, this isn't, I've already decided that I'm not having breast cancer. So this is against what I've already decided. I'm following in my mother's footsteps. And that was what I said when I laid down the law many years ago. But then I wasn't surprised because I had that weird feeling when I went in that something was going to be not right. So I'm still feel surprised, but not surprised, which I don't know how to explain. It does feel weird though. And neither Chris nor I slept that night. I was not surprised that I didn't sleep despite giving myself extra CBDs and an extra progesterone. And wasn't terribly surprised I didn't sleep that night, but I was a little bit surprised that Chris was tossing and turning too. So neither one of us slept well that night. And then I don't know, I'm very happy that we're working on the Period Besties live because it definitely gives me something for my brain to do. And I'm glad that I decided I was going to launch this insane new Pain Free Periods podcast at the same time because it's all keeping me very busy, which is good. I have gone out to hike the dogs a few times. But there's just nothing you can do until you find out. So it's hard to like, I mean, if it's benign, then all that worrying is for nothing. And if it's
Yeah.
not, then all that worrying is just contributing to poor health. So it's like I'm trying real hard not to add
No.
stress into the mix because it's already not great. And I've definitely been doing a lot more of my chi cycling meditations and qigong and stuff just throughout the day because I just need to like it's not even like I'm consciously worrying that my brain is not going, okay, well, what if? It's just this like hum that's there. And every now and then I'm like, oh, have I just held my breath for like an hour? Maybe I should breathe. So I've definitely been doing a lot more breathing exercises. I've been using my little
Good.
Finch app breathing exercises too. I usually do an evening one, but I've been doing a day one as well as an evening one just to remind myself to breathe. I don't know. It's really weird. It's hard to explain.
I mean, I have to do that all day, every day because that's just like my stress response is like not breathing, which
Me
is
too.
kind of scary.
No, like what kind of stress response is holding your breath?
I know, because like I do that. I was just doing it. I was like, oh, you're talking about breathing. I'm like, I'm not breathing right now as I'm having this
Hmm.
conversation with you. Like, I also need to breathe.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know how
know.
to describe
It's
it, but
so weird. But yeah, so it's worse than normal, basically, is it's
yeah.
like I'm
Well, your
definitely
body just like, even if your brain is not thinking about it, your body is.
yeah.
So the deep breathing, the walking, like just trying to move it through the body is so helpful and so important. But I mean, I just wish things could be faster. It's like,
I
oh, we
know.
need a biopsy. Okay, let's do it now.
I know. I
Let's
know.
let's walk you to this next room.
I know. I mean, at least they were like, okay, we can get one in a week and a half or whatever it was from there. So the 22nd. And I mean, as she's scheduling all these things, my birthday is the 25th, right? So she's throwing out a couple of dates and she's like, oh, we've got the 22nd, we've got the 24th. I was like, please, God, don't say the 25th. I really don't want to spend the 25th in a.
No, absolutely not. Oh
So
wait, no,
she,
but that's a Saturday, so you're good.
no, but my MRI is on a Sunday. It's
Oh,
August 2nd, I think, is the
oh, is
MRI.
it
Don't
open
quote me
on
on
the
that date.
weekend?
Yeah, she was like, do you really want to come in on a Sunday though for this? And I was like, well, no, but I want to get it done. And if that's the first available appointment, then Sunday be damned, I'm coming in. So
Yeah, no,
she was like,
totally.
okay, well, we can do a Sunday in the afternoon. I was like, no, if I'm going to spend my Sunday, I'm going to come in, I'm going to do it first thing, and I'm going to go home and I'm going to smoke a joint. So Sunday morning, she goes, oh, well, we've got an 8:15. And I was like, sign me up. She goes, I think that's a really good plan. MRI, go home, have a little smoke and toke, a little brunch. I was like, that's, yes, exactly. She goes, okay. So she scheduled me for like 8 a.m. or something insane on Sunday morning for the MRI.
All right. We're gonna know soon. So that's
Yes.
like that helps the brain a little bit know that it's not gonna be thinking anxious thoughts for 6 months, 3 months. It's like it has a date.
Yeah.
That always helps my anxious brain is like knowing this date is
Yeah.
coming closer and closer in a weird way, even though closer and closer also makes me anxious. But just having that date
Yeah, there's a lot of
just
like, there's nothing we can do about it. So just go hike the dogs, just go play with the cat, just go
yeah,
work on the Summit landing page, whatever it is. But
yeah.
it is like, there's nothing we can do about it right now. So just go do something else. So I've definitely been attempting to distract myself with it. Also, I've just been trying to distract myself and like, cheerlead Chris as he's winding down today and tomorrow are his last 2 days. So today was his last morning shift. So I'm just trying to like shift the focus to something happy. So I
Yeah.
was like, last morning shift,
Yeah.
yay!
And then you guys are gonna have some time together too, which is like really special and nice.
Yes,
And I
yes.
think like the most important part of what we're talking about is talk to your friends if there's something going on, get love, get support,
Hmm.
don't go through this alone. And if you have family history, if you just even notice when you're doing your breast self exams, like something just doesn't feel right, like make an appointment now and get
Yeah.
checked out.
One of my friends in Australia does breast cancer awareness for young women because she was diagnosed as like early 20s, I think, if I remember correctly. I heard her story a long time ago now, but she has a campaign called Feel It on the 5th. On the 5th day of every month, You do a self breast exam in the shower. In fact, when I was there, she gave me this little shower hook that's in our bathroom shower, and I can't swear that I do it every month, but it's there and it reminds me, and I do occasionally remember. So, though I didn't feel anything, I just went in for my mammograms. And then actually, it's one of the reasons I reduced my drinking substantially in my 30s was because one glass of booze, so wine, beer, doesn't matter what it is, but like one serving of alcohol, which by the way, a serving of wine is probably not what most of you are pouring into your glass. It's probably more like a serving and a half or two servings if you want to really get technical about it. But one serving increases your risks of breast cancer substantially, even if you have no history of it.
Isn't that insane to think about?
It is. It
When
is.
I heard that too, like, I don't remember how old I was when I heard that. And I was like, well, I'm glad I don't drink like I used to, but I definitely was drinking. I mean, I don't think I was drinking more. I was definitely drinking less because I don't have a very high tolerance of anything. But I look back and I'm like, why was this something I even wanted to do? Because now I don't even want anything to drink.
Yeah, I just Googled it real quick. So one source says 10%, and then another source says the overall estimated association is approximately 30 to 50% increased in breast risk cancer from about 1 to 2 drinks per day. They say 15 to 30 grams of alcohol consumption. So that's about 1 to 2 drinks a day. So
Oh my
anyway, it's a
God.
lot. And I remember, I see that's the number that sticks in my head is 25%, which I guess is kind of the happy medium of those things. So
Yeah, but that's really
yeah,
big.
it is. So it was one of the reasons I quit doing it. And then ironically, I had started taking 1 drop of iodine maybe 2 days before I went in for the second mammogram and ultrasound, just to give my thyroid a little boost because I was in that low, normal, but low percentage point. And when she was like, you have a lot of cysts, I was like, well, I guess I better increase that iodine. So I'm taking 3 drops of iodine now a day, which will be interesting to see in 6 months if that reduces the amount of cysts.
What does the cyst look like?
Like
Describe that.
bubbles a little bit.
Oh,
They kind of look like white dots, but they're not solid. They're kind of like more on the outside, which is why I think of them like they look a little bit more like they're blowing bubbles because the outlines were more clear on there, but they were more white, whereas the lump or the mass was dark. So it was very clear the difference between the cysts and
okay.
the
So
mass or
interesting.
whatever. I know it was very interesting. I'm glad that they let me look at it and
Yeah.
showed me what was what and everything. So we'll see. It was, I don't know. My brain is all over the place emotionally, and I don't know that that's going to change until I actually find out one way or the other, but it's certainly rattling. And you
Of
think you're
course.
doing everything, I was like, well, what am I going to do? Reduce my drinking? My like 10 half glasses of wine a year?
Well, that's the thing. You and I go to the doctors, right? And they find out things, right? And like, oh, stop doing this, stop doing that. And you're like, I don't do that. I
Hmm.
don't do that. So I don't know how that makes you feel, but it makes me feel extremely frustrated that I'm
Yes,
things
it is.
like I'm like, I'm already doing these things. So
Yeah.
tell me something else.
I am frustrated. I will admit I am definitely frustrated. Pepper has been outside howling at things, and I am joining her every single second that I can to get a little howling out while disguising it for the poor neighbors. But yeah, I am frustrated between the like fatty liver, high cholesterol. I was like, there is nothing else that I can do for any of these things, so I guess just let it go. Now, one of my tea ladies who's older and is a prepper and very anti-government and establishment. And I mean, I love her to death. She's absolutely off her rocker. She's one of my favorite people in the world. But she was like, I'm not getting chemo, so why would I get a mammogram? And I was like, okay. She goes, if I don't go to the doctor, they can't tell me anything's wrong with me. And then therefore nothing's wrong with me. And I was like, I love your logic. Well done.
There are people like that for sure. I am not that
No.
type of person,
No,
but
especially because I've had so many of my family members who went through chemo and came out just fine.
yeah.
And it's
And I
like,
have lots of friends that have too. Like
yeah,
they're all, I mean, it's horrible, the
yeah,
whole
of course.
experience, right?
Yeah.
But they're I don't know if okay is the right word, but they're like moving forward in their life
Yeah.
and they have a new sense of purpose and different things like that.
You're alive to live
But they're
another
okay. They're
day,
alive.
and it's not like I have a bad life. I have a phenomenal husband and adorable fur babies everywhere. And, like I don't want to kick the bucket in my 40s
Oh
just because
God,
I
no.
refuse to go get a mammogram. So,
No.
I'm still a big fan of thermography. I wish I had found somebody here sooner because we would have known sooner, or we would know if it was probably benign or not a little bit better. But anyway, I haven't found anybody here. So mammogram it is, because at least that's included in my health insurance.
Oh
It's
yeah.
another reason that I was like, no, no, do the MRI immediately, because who knows what health
Yeah,
insurance
you're like, I
will
have
be
health
in
insurance. Let's do this now.
6 months.
Anything else that you want people to just know, or anything else you think is important to share? I know this is really personal.
No, I'm an open book, and I am gonna just say you don't know. So in the interim, do what you need to do to distract yourself if this happens. It's a bit like, we've all gotten that pap smear that came back abnormal. An abnormal
Mm-hmm.
pap is like a rite of passage, I feel like, for women. So it
Yeah.
feels a little bit like that, where it's like, oh yeah, I've had 3 of these. It's never anything. So I feel like that a little bit, but then also it's the first time. So it's like, oh God, is this going to be, baby's first biopsy? Is this going to be like a thing? I'm definitely recommending do the things that you need to do to stay healthy. Try and fall back on some healthy coping behaviors. And, I haven't picked up a glass of wine or something to cope. So definitely doing some physical action around the house. I'm emptying our hot tub by bucket right now and pouring it on the trees. It's taking days, but it's something to do. It's like every time I get into my brain, I'm like, go do some buckets. So we have a new pump for it. So I have to empty it
Oh,
to
I'm like, why are you doing that?
no, because the pump died, so we got a new pump. So anyway, it's just a good distraction. It's heavy, it's lifting, it's walking. So it's like a healthy distraction. And then I guess just stay tuned. We'll do the biopsy and then we'll come back and record another episode to let you know how the biopsy goes. And I think the ultrasound is a week after that, so we'll probably do one and then the other. We'll see how it shakes out. But I'm also kind of treating my newsletter as a bit of a journal right now. Like
Oh, I love
was
it. Yeah.
writing before we jumped on today. So I guess if you're not on the newsletter, feel free to go read my thoughts as they come each week on the
Yeah.
newsletter. I don't know. It's just a weird place to be in, and there's nothing you can do. That's the most
Yeah.
frustrating part is you can't do anything.
No.
You can stop drinking, you can stop doing the unhealthy things, but since I'm not doing those, there's not really anything else I
The
can do.
waiting is always the worst. And I'm not comparing this at all to my fertility journey, but I just remember like, am I pregnant? Am
Yeah.
I not pregnant? And then all you can do is wait. The worst feeling is like when you don't, honestly, we're all control freaks, right? So it's this sense that when you actually don't have control over something and it's real, not
Yeah.
just like thinking you don't, but it's actually real that you don't,
Yeah.
it's hard for your brain to comprehend any of that.
Yeah.
It really is.
Absolutely. I think we all understand that feeling, right? Like you're waiting for your period to come because you
Yep.
don't want to be pregnant, or you're waiting for your period to come because you are hoping it won't come because you hoping you're pregnant. Like I feel like every woman has at least like waiting for their period, whether that's a good or bad outcome. But I feel like every woman has had that moment of
Yeah,
like,
it's
I can't do anything but sit here. You're Googling like, what can you do to bring on your period quicker? And it's like, oh, juice parsley. And so you drink like
oh
20 cups of parsley juice in a day. And
no, it's wild. It's wild what we
yeah,
have gone through in our lives and what we're going to continue to go through in our lives.
I know. But could you imagine had we all known more about our fertility awareness and like known when we were
Oh,
fertile
I
or
would have
not?
been way more chill kind of in my 20s.
Yeah. I had a boyfriend probably like 2 years ago now go, did we have a pregnancy scare one time? And I went, no, not really. I mean, maybe because we were teenagers and idiots, but not
Not
really.
really.
I was on birth control all through high school and most of college because of the endometriosis. So I was like, odds are not. Also, did you know that women are only fertile like 6 days out of the month? So probably not. Like, what are the odds?
I know.
So yeah, we know and all that stuff, which I guess is a good opportunity to say, come to Period Besties Live, because we're going to have a whole panel on birth control and fertility
Yeah.
awareness. But yeah, I mean, imagine so much less stress in our lives had we known that stuff. And now, what are your coping methods? Because something comes up down the line, like an abnormal mammogram, and I have some healthy coping strategies in your back pocket for the day, because otherwise, I'd be an absolute mess right now. But thankfully, I have a huge array of really good coping mechanisms and EFT and friends. And my bestie did come say she was like, I'm sorry to ruin the surprise, but I was going to come down for your birthday. I've been texting your husband,
Oh,
but I'm going to
yay.
be there. So if you need a ride, I was like, well, we planned it so that Chris would be there for the ride. But yes, come. And then you and Chris can at least sit in the waiting room and keep each other entertained
Company.
while I go in for the biopsy. I was
Yeah.
really starting to feel bad for Chris because the mammogram and the ultrasound took so long because the techs look at it and everything right then
Yeah.
and there, that I was like, oh, I can't believe I made him come down here for this stupid thing that's
Oh, there's no way he was
hours.
not going to go with you.
Yes. Well, at the end of it, I came out and I was like, he goes, okay, we ready? What's everything good? And I was like, well, as it turns out, I have to have a biopsy because there is actually a mass. And he was like, oh, it's like, yeah, I was regretting bringing you here until this moment. And now I'm really glad you're here. So he was like, oh, yeah, no, I'm glad I'm here too. So take
Yeah.
somebody with you, even if you think it's going to be,
Yeah.
like
No,
a.
that's a really, really good point, actually. Like,
And then he was there because we had to make the appointments for the biopsy and the MRI right there. So we were right there. We had our phones out. I was like, "When's your last day? Let's." So
yeah.
it was really good to be able to schedule right then and there with him to come with me. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like friend, somebody, but yeah, have somebody with you. That really helped a lot. And then we all got breakfast. And Chris goes, "Oh, we can do the biopsy and then we'll all go get breakfast at Sunnyside together." I was like, yes, it'll be great. Yay, birthday week.
All right. Well, then I'm glad that Noelle's going to be there and you guys can do like something fun for your birthday as well, not just doing that. Yeah.
Yes. No, well, I don't know what's being planned because I didn't want to have to plan anything. So I was like, I don't know what we're doing, but I'm glad that I didn't plan anything. And I'm sorry that her surprise was spoiled, but she was like, I'm gonna be there though. So I was like, okay,
No,
thanks.
but
That
in the
actually
end, like
good.
it actually is like kismet. It's actually perfect.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
So if anyone has questions, feel free to send them in. I'm an open book. I'm happy to share. And I guess we'll just go through this as a team.
Exactly. All of your besties are here for you. And thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, if anybody listening needs anything, just reach out to us anytime. And if you have any questions, we'll definitely answer as we go along.
Yeah, and any tips, if anyone has any tips that's been through this before, please feel free to share them along, because just what I do doesn't mean that's going to work for everybody. So, like, we'd be happy to share anyone's tips as well as we go through this.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for listening, and we will see you soon. Bye for now.
A big shout out and thank you to our sponsors for today's episode, Period Coaching School and Katie Bressek Wellness.
Thanks to you, our favorite bestie, for listening to the Period Besties podcast, where no topic is TMI. And of course, share this episode with your besties.
Remember to leave us a 5-star review, nothing less than the best for us besties, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
You can follow us on Instagram at Stasha Washburn and at Katie Bressack, or email us at periodbestiespodcast@gmail.com.
Check out more about us at katiebressack.com and periodcoachingschool.com. And of course, check the show notes for free goodies and extras that support this episode.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye for now, besties.